What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course for a weird disc review. This time we have the Kastaplast Rask. It has this extra little lip on the inside, almost more comfortable on a fan grip. It is very shallow and it has a rounded over lip on the inside of the rim, meaning it's going to slip out of your hand really quickly. So if you're not gripping onto it, it's probably going to be an early release a lot of the time. The weird thing about this is that Kastaplast decided that because this weird little thing on the inside, it's supposed to help the airfoil of the disc. It's supposed to help it stay in the air for longer. So they call this a 14 speed. I'm going to flash the numbers up. It is the same rim size as a Destroyer. Which is like the classic 12 speed. So you have this, they call it a 14404 or 14304. So it's supposed to be very overstable and really fast. To compare it, we have the PD2 S-Line, or the Swirly S-Line Skystone PD2. This is a 12404. And then we have the Discraft Venom, which they call a 13404. So we have 12, 13, and 14 speeds, even though the rim size on all of them, the 12 speed, the PD2 rim actually feels bigger in your hand than either the 13 or the 14 speed. So let's just stop calling things numbers because we want to have a different slot. Let's just make a different disc and have the right numbers, because this is a 12 speed. They call it a 12 speed. Everyone has accepted that a PD2 is a 12 speed. The Venom is actually smaller. Right now, it feels slightly smaller than the PD2, and the Rask feels even smaller. Now, it is very possible that the Rask feels smaller because of how shallow it is. It might be the same, but the Venom and the Rask, no, I think it is a smaller rim. So we're gonna toss these three off here today, a couple different holes, try them on some different lines, and see how comparable they are. We're starting here for the short pad for hole 12. I'm going to throw these all on some big, high Anheuser backhand shots. But because they're a 0.4 and a very fast rim, they should fight out of it. We're going to go Venom, PD2, and then Rask just to start with. We'll probably do like a rotating tee order. You won't be able to see that finish because I started it off way too far to the right, but it definitely faded back, and when it started to fade, it faded pretty hard. I'm going to try to keep these further out there so you can see more of the full flight of these. Didn't turn that enough. That thing is so overstable. That is very overstable. I gotta go look for the PD2 though. Right off the bat, this one feels even more overstable. When it now, I probably threw it too nose up, but when it started to fade, it literally just spiked down, which is weird that this would be the most overstable of the three, seeing as this one actually has the most give to it. It has the stability of a 14 speed, but it definitely doesn't have the speed or the distance of a 14 speed. So it's going to be a little interesting. All three of these should be able to handle a pretty decent amount of torque and turnover and still be able to fight back and flex back even on a forehand. And that's what we're going to try right here. I hope that the Rask doesn't slip out because I didn't bring a towel and it's very dewy out this morning. Oh yeah, look at that thing fight back. This feels so shallow on a forehand. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold on to it. That thing flies like a glidey tilt. And I thought that the groove was stupidly overstable. The Rask is stupidly overstable. Now, the main difference between those two and the Skystone or the PD2 is this one has some dome. So even if you put it on those anhysers, it's going to hold it for a little bit longer, but it's probably going to stay in the air a little bit longer too. And then that one's the one that slipped out of my hand, which is weird. The dry disc slipped out of my hand, and the two wet ones I held on to. I don't know how that one works. Let's go see if we can full flex him over 16. Every single time I've thrown this disc so far, it has ended with a spiking hyzer angle. It is crazy beef, very flat on top, and the rim is very high up on the disc. So if you're looking for something if you have a little bit smaller hands and you want something that's gonna be that crazy beef, but a PD2 or a Venom just feel like they're a little bit too big, the Rask it's beefy. It's so incredibly beefy. We're gonna go backhand, turnover lines, or with these three, it's gonna be backhand and flex lines. See if we can torque it over and try to throw the Rask low enough and torqued over enough that I'm not gonna spike it in. I wanna see if I can get a little bit more of a skip out of it. Spike. Sometimes you find those discs that work for weird random reasons, and I don't think the Rask is one of those discs. It's just too overstable. It is incredibly overstable. Now the PD2, this one should hold a little bit straighter. See, that one got a skip. That one got a skip and then a roll towards the basket. Let's try the Venom. I am between, like on really windy days, I'm between, do I bag the Venom or do I bag the PD2? And I think with the way that my backhand form is coming along, I don't know if I'm gonna need something that incredibly overstable and glidey on a backhand. And the PD2 flies better on a backhand for me, but the Venom flies almost better on a forehand. So I almost wanna stick a Venom in the bag just for those really windy days. For those just intense forehand lines that you might have to throw. Let's see how it handles this. Yeah, see on a backhand, I can't quite get that one to turn as much. I don't know what it is about the PD2 works better on a backhand, the Venom works better on a forehand. I'm not sure why. My biggest understanding is it's probably that the plastics are different and the Venom is a stiffer, more slick plastic, whereas the PD2 is kind of in a swirly S line, so it's nice and gummy and grippy. That's the biggest thing I can figure. But as we're reviewing the Rask, we're gonna throw it for one more hole, but I don't think there's any possibility of the Rask making anything other than my weird disc YouTube content creator bag. That holds discs like the Berg, the Dillo, the Groove, the Tilt, the Juju, you know, things that are just kind of weird, out of the ordinary type of discs. I think that's the only reason that I would ever throw a Rask. It's so difficult to control. Not that it's in a bad way, it's always gonna do the exact same thing. It's just unless you need that exact same thing, you don't, just throw a different disc. That one's not gonna do it for you. Now here's where the glide comes into play, because we are parked. The other two were like 70, 80 feet. Do I need a bag of venom and a PD2? The questions we all ask ourselves. Final hole. As far as the Rask goes, it's more of a joke disc, and a lot of Kastaplast molds seem to be more joke discs, similar to the way Doomsday discs are. They're like, we're gonna experiment, we're gonna try something new, and it may or may not work. That one does not work for me. It might work for some people, it does not work for me. For me, it's either the Venom or the PD2, and I think I'm good enough with the PD2 on a forehand that it's so much better backhand that I think I would go PD2. And with a PD2, you're going to have that reliability because Discraft, every single run of theirs is different, so you have to find the run that you like and then buy a whole bunch. With Discmania, their stuff is so extremely reliable. Basically every run of S-Line or every run of C-Line is going to be basically the exact same. That being said, we're gonna throw them all off of here. Venom, PD2, and then Rask to close this off. Let's see if we can push these and get close to 400. Don't know if it's gonna happen. I know pros can throw these discs so extremely far. For me, I had trouble reaching the 375 downhill hole, so I don't think I can push them to 400. But we are definitely gonna give it our best effort. It's about 375. Also about 375. About 365, and it's spiked in. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that disc. It's like a really shallow, big rim tilt. I don't know what to do with that disc. It's so beefy. It's got a little more glide though, so it's a little more controllable than a tilt. If you enjoy content like this, where I go and just try out some new discs, make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, comment all that down below, and make sure to subscribe for all these subscriber only giveaways. And until next time, see you out on the course.